Hello students, welcome to Crack Grade B online learning platform. So I am audible, can you please confirm? So today we are going to discuss what to study in last 4 days. What are the important topics to clear the cutoff. At least you study all these topics. If you have not studied, if you have studied, then you need to focus more on these topics I will be discussing in this video. And as you know that ESI 40 questions will be there, ARD 40 questions will be there, and 24 from GA. So in GA they will be asking mixed question from the sports. They can ask from the defense exercise, they can ask from the science, banking, any type of questions they can ask in the GA. So I will advise at least 2 months, if you are studying from any source, at least stick to the 2 months GA, and specifically focus on the GA in sports, recent Asian Games, World Cup, and question can be asked on the Chandrayaan also. Chandrayaan mission was very important. So these such type of topics which are in news, which are in main highlight. So that topic you need to focus in GA. So I will be discussing more about these ESI and ARD. And one more thing, if you have not studied ARD static, so I will tell you the topics, which topics under the each topic, what subtopics you need to focus or need to revise in last 3-4 days, that I will be telling you. And ESI 40 marks will be completely based on the schemes and current affairs. GA 20 marks, it is from current affair. And in ARD also 10 to 15, it depends, it varies every year. So last year like 10 questions were from schemes and current affair in the ARD section, and last year 15 questions. So it varies. So 10 to 15 questions from the current affairs schemes. So suppose we are considering the lowest part 10, 20, 40. So at least 70 marks are assigned to the current affair and the schemes. So I will advise you to revise current affair and schemes, budget, economic survey, these chapters to score good marks or to clear the cutoff. So I will be discussing the topics. So first thing is for the ESI. For ESI, last 3-4 months PIB, that is very important. PIB direct questions we have seen in the RBI phase 2, phase 1, last year NABARD. Every year we are watching this and analyzing this, that maximum questions or maximum question in ESI you will find from the PIB, schemes, budget, highlights. So at least 3 months, if you have done 3 months PIB, revise that, and you can go for the 4th month selective part. At least focus on the schemes which are in news in PIB in last 3-4 months. That is the most important thing. And second thing is budget speech highlights. So budget speech highlights, complete budget document is important, but still in that you need to, if you are not able to cram every fact, so you need to focus more on the agriculture part, agriculture related data in the budget, cooperative sector, cooperative, rural development related, any announcement is there, rural area related, health, education, any tribal related, any announcement, tribal these are the one more thing, MSME. So at least focus on these. Plus में in budget I am referring budget document. Yes, MCQs, most of the content in the MCQs have been covered from the budget speech only. And scheme allocations, scheme allocation, specifically scheme which are relevant to these topics. Scheme of like PM Kisan, MG Narega, जल जीवन मिशन, कृषि सिंचाई योजना, पीएम कृषि सिंचाई योजना, प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य योजना, ग्राम सड़क योजना. These schemes allocations are very important. And next thing in budget is important, that is fiscal deficit for the center and state. Fiscal deficit. And fact about this capital expenditure, revenue expenditure, total budget allocation. These are the most important thing in the budget you need to cram. If you have not studied the complete budget, at least study these topics. Scheme allocation in budget. Economic survey. Economic survey, I will advise the first thing you can do from the PIB highlights, those who are studying. And in our content we have uploaded already this content, but there is a lot of data in economic survey and you will not be able to cram, because everywhere you are studying the data facts and it is not possible to cram everything. So I will advise you at least do one thing, GDP related facts from this economic survey you need to cram. Second thing, GDP related facts from economic survey. And this chapter, agriculture and food management, we have separately uploaded in our course, and those who are studying their self, you can go at the economic survey website, government website, and from there you can download this chapter and cram the every important fact of this chapter. That is very important. It can be asked in the exam, and we have seen the previous year 1-2 questions are always asked. So do that. And one chapter is those who are not studying complete economic survey, means survey highlights. So I will advise you study the GDP figures, that is in the first chapter. Second is agriculture and food management, and one is social security, social infrastructure or social security, something is name is there, social infrastructure, that chapter. So you need to focus on these chapters. Then comes to the RBI circular of last 3-4 months, including press release. We have seen in the last year also some questions in ESI, not last year, last to last year, in 2021 there were many questions. In 2019 also there were many questions from the RBI circular in ESI part. At least 4 to 5 questions were asked. So I will advise at least 3-4 months circulars. And today we have discussed the 50 most important MCQs on our YouTube session, that you can refer those. And September, October, I will advise you to focus more on September and October circulars, which definitely can be asked, as we have seen in the previous year. RBI guidelines of priority sector lending, Kisan credit card, interest subvention scheme, National Rural Livelihood Mission, RBI guidelines are there. On RBI website it is available. Lead bank scheme, payment bank related, small finance bank related. This is very important thing, means these guidelines are very important. Definitely you will find question in phase 1 and phase 2 in from these guidelines. Most important thing, we have seen that many times lead bank scheme related question has been asked in this paper, NABARD Grade A. Many times that lead bank scheme, in lead bank scheme there are different quarterly meeting, there are different committees, their meetings are being held quarterly. So many times they have asked question that relevant to these committees meeting. So lead bank scheme, priority sector lending, in priority sector lending they can ask question about the target of this priority sector of different banks and their different allocation under different categories like education, what is the maximum amount of loan that can be provided by banks, for social infrastructure, for weaker section. There are different allocations. So I will advise you at least 2 to 3 questions we can expect from these guidelines. So every single mark is important to clear the cutoff. So I will, and these guidelines are not difficult like interest subvention scheme. Interest subvention schemes, always one question you will find, and it is easy that this year 1.5% is interest subvention for those who will pay on the those farmers who will pay on time, they will get additional 3%. This limit is 2 lakh for interest subvention, limit is 2 lakh for the animal husbandry fisheries farmers, and it is 3 lakh for agriculture and allied activities including animal husbandry. Only those who are involved in the fisheries, dairy, this limit is 2 lakh, but crop and other farming, this is 3 lakhs. So these only things you need to cram from this interest subvention, and these guidelines are very less content you can say, and 2-3 questions will be there. So I will advise you at least cram these, and it is easy to cram these guidelines. So next is the report section, and we've seen that they will definitely ask 2-3 questions from the report. They can ask, and they have asked in the previous years also. So these are the important reports: Global Hunger Index, Gender Gap, Logistic Performance Index, World Happiness Report, Human Development Report, Multidimensional Poverty Index, State of Food Security and Nutrition in the world. I mean, mains exam they can ask, if they will not ask in phase 1, but I expect that 1-2 questions they will ask from the report sections also. State of World Children Report, World Investment Report, Global Innovation Index recently released, and these reports like Sample Registration System, statistical report about like infant mortality rate, under 5 mortality rate, this is important thing. Maternal mortality rate in India 2018-20, again SRS report, and state ranking index for NFSA, National Multidimensional Poverty Index recently released by Niti Aayog, Export Preparedness Index 2022 recently released by Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog reports are very important, can be asked. Water bodies first census, 5th state food safety index, performance graded index, agriculture census, livestock census, handloom census, and socio-economic caste census 2011. And GDP reports, India's GDP projection by IMF, World Bank, OECD, UN, and National Statistical Office, India. From these report, at least 4 to 5 questions we can expect, at least 4 to 5, because agricultural census they are asking question every year. Socio-economic caste census, most important topic. RBI guidelines, these are under financial inclusion chapter. If you have seen financial inclusion chapter under ESI section, so these RBI guidelines are there. GST figures of latest 2 months and last year means 22-23 total figures, and last 2 months September, August figures are there, and July GST figures are there. So I will advise you to study, to cram the GST figures of 2 months, because in one shift they can ask for August, and in second they will ask from the July. We have seen in the previous year it has happened, means suppose they are asking from August in one shift, they will ask from the July in second shift. FDI latest figures of means last year 22-23, export import highlights or latest month and quarterly figures, CPI, WPI, IIP index of 8 core industries latest figures, their components, and NAFIS, NABARD Financial Inclusion Survey. This is again important. So these are the most important reports, and I will advise you to study the highlighted part, means highlights of these reports only. Do not go in depth, means India related content study from these international organizations report, and these Indian report like this Niti Aayog report and export preparedness index. Only do the highlights, what are the components, which state is topper, because everything you cannot cram from every report. Then comes to the schemes. Schemes are also more than 50% question you will find from the scheme. More than 50% question you will find from the scheme. So these schemes I will advise you to study at least the basic detail, main highlights of these scheme, like time period, what are the main features. Do not go in depth. At least Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, FIDF, Gokul Mission, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, most important schemes likely to be asked. Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development, these two are from this ministry. These two schemes are the most important, likely to be asked. They can ask the target under PMFSSAI. Again, this Agriculture and Farmer Welfare Ministry, this is most important. PM Kisan Fasal Bima Yojana, Soil Health Card, Agriculture Infrastructure, E-Naam, Kisan Mandhan Yojana, FPO scheme, and this some mission on agriculture mechanization, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. These schemes, because Agriculture Ministry is very important in ARD paper and ESI paper, in both they can ask scheme from the Agriculture Ministry. Then comes to the Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. Again, the most important, maximum question from three ministry you will find. Maximum question from Rural Development, Animal Husbandry, Agriculture. These three ministry are the most important ministries. So at least you need to read these schemes. MG Narega, Awas Yojana, NRLM. Again, NRLM, RBI guidelines are there. Again, this is the part of Rural Development Ministry also. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Urban Mission, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Social Assistance Program, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, Swamitva scheme from the Panchayati Raj Ministry. Ministry of Jal Shakti, three ministry likely to be asked. Govardhan scheme, Swachh Bharat Mission related facts they can ask, because it was recently in news in August, September. So this is again most important. They can ask the facts related to the schemes also, like ODF status, what is ODF plus. They can simply ask the definition, what is ODF plus, and there are three category under ODF plus. Jal Jeevan Mission related achievements they can ask. Again, the important ministry, one scheme at least one question you will find from this ministry. Forest Right Act is there, Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Vikas Mission is there, PVTZ related question, the announcement was in budget, also it was in news regularly in last 2-3 months. Ekalve Model Residential School, again important budget announcement is there related to this and this scheme. Again, the most important scheme. TriFed is also important, read about TriFed. So these at least 4-5 ministry do not skip at any cost. Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, and Rural Development, Panchayati Raj, Jal Shakti and Tribal Affairs. Then comes to the Social Security schemes. These schemes, one of the schemes will definitely be asked, one of the scheme. Again, these are the important scheme, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Stand Up India, and you have read many times these schemes, so you may know the fact of all these schemes and do the latest figures, means how much is the enrollment under these schemes, so that is important. Also, you can recently was in news APY Atal Pension Yojana and NPS related facts were there. Their enrollment crores 6 crore plus 10 lakh crore, I think 10 lakh crore total asset under management of these schemes, 10 lakh crores. So these facts were there, so these facts can be asked. Similarly, this Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana total accounts as on date and total female account, this was in news, I think 57% or 56%. Yes, it is good score. If you are getting 45-50 marks in our mocks, it is very good score. From skill development, PMKVY is important, and National Apprentice Promotion Scheme, you can read about this. Ministry of Housing Urban Affairs, PM Swanidhi scheme and Amrut Mission is important. Mission Poshan, Mission Vatsalya, Mission Shakti, read about these schemes, because one question we can expect from this ministry also. Generally they target every topic of the syllabus. In questions. Suppose total 40 questions are there, so they will try to target every topic. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, 3-4 scheme I will advise you. Janani Suraksha Yojana, PM Jan Arogya Yojana, and newborn child and adolescent. And in addition to that, those schemes which are in news, means last 3 months at least in PIB, or any new scheme is launched in between. So that is very important, like PM Vishwakarma. That is most important scheme, will be asked in both the shift. Means we will expect question in both the shift from PM Vishwakarma. Next is Ministry of Education. Again, National Education Policy. Every year questions are being asked in every exam. Almost every banking exams they are asking question from the National Education Policy. PM Poshan, again important scheme. Right to education related question they can ask. They can ask question on PM Shri, KGBV, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, Samagra Shiksha. Do the basic features of these schemes, don't go in the detailed guidelines. Means what is the time period for this scheme, what are the main features. So if any budget allocation is there, then read about that. Budget allocation is very important for the schemes. Again, this most important ministry, Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana, Maternity Benefit Act, EPF and ESI. Last year, one shift question was asked related to the EPF, and in second shift question was related to the ESI, National Pension Scheme for Trader. So this is again most important ministry. Ministry of MSME, these 4 schemes at least I will advise you to read about the PMEGP. PMEGP is again very important. Credit Guarantee Trust Fund for Micro and Small Enterprises, as limit has been increased, I think 5 crore is now. So it can be asked, it was regularly in news. Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program, they can ask question about various margin money requirement and for different category. They can simple one-liner question can ask. So there are revised guidelines for this ministry. PM Vishwakarma, Public Procurement Policy, there are rules for public sector companies. They have to procure at least 25%, I think 20 or 25%, you can check in the notes, from this micro and small enterprises. I think 4% or 3% is from women, and some percentage is I think 4% or 5% from SC/ST owned, women owned micro and small enterprises. This is procurement policy. This is very important, can be asked. PM Vishwakarma scheme, question in both the shifts likely to be asked from the PM Vishwakarma scheme. Always they are getting one question from this ministry also. There were many schemes, but it is not feasible. It is not feasible to cram every scheme. So at least if any scheme in news from this ministry in last 3-4 months in PIB, then those schemes are important. Otherwise I will advise you to study these schemes. Question can be asked from these schemes. Ministry of Minority, less important, but still I will advise you to read about those two schemes. Again, Ministry of Cooperation, important scheme from this exam point of view. Ministry of Cooperation is important, so one-liner question can be asked from these schemes. So I will advise you to study like this. You can easily answer the question. Don't go in more depth. At least you should know that the scheme is related to. Sometimes they have asked which of the following scheme is related to. Suppose this dairy Sehkar is related to dairy farmers. So they can ask the question, which of the following scheme is related to the dairy farming in cooperative sectors. So Digital Sehkar, Niryat Sehkar, Sehkar Mitra, Nandini Sehkar, Ayushman Sehkar, these are the important schemes, and I will advise you few ministries. Again I am telling you that Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Agriculture, Farmer Welfare, Rural Development, Panchayati Raj, and Rural Development, Panchayati Raj, again Jal Shakti, Ministry of Finance, MSME, Labor and Employment, and Ministry of Cooperation. Do not skip the scheme of one more, Ministry of Tribal. Do not skip the scheme of these ministry at any cost. This scheme at least I have mentioned in this, and some other schemes are important. These are also very important, like National Food Security Act is very important. One Nation One Ration Card scheme. These are not difficult scheme. Very less data or facts are there under this scheme. Pradhan Mantri Sahaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana Saubhagya scheme. National Mission for Use of Biomass in Thermal Power Plant. National Bioenergy Program, PM Kusum scheme. National Green Hydrogen, PM Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises, or Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. These are the important schemes from other ministries. So National Green Hydrogen Mission, it is very important. National Green Hydrogen Mission, it can be asked. Again, Mission Life is very important. Mission Life, this can be asked. India's INDC, Nationally Determined Contribution, INDC. These are the important things, and some biogas related some more initiatives are there. 2-3 I am not able to recall, like I think one is Satat program, you can study about these. One is waste to energy program, biogas related initiatives are there. Govardhan scheme is there. I have Govardhan, under Govardhan there are 3-4 ministries which are supporting this initiative, Govardhan. So there are 3-4 initiatives of those ministries. So I will advise you to study those. National Green Hydrogen Mission is very important. Yes. Now comes to the this was for the ESI part. If you will do this is enough. And in static, if you want, if your time, if you revise these things, so static chapter, I will advise you to study at least a definition of various types, terminology in inflation, like types of inflation, stagflation, hyperinflation, and study about this CPI static part, means what are the various components under consumer price index, wholesale price index, which component has the highest weightage, which component has the lowest weightage, what is the base here. This can be asked. IIP, Index of Industrial Production, Index of 8 core industries. Then comes to the poverty estimation committees. So they can ask question on 5-year plans. And they can ask question from the Indian polity, like some constitutional this article based question. We have seen 1 or 2 question they can ask. So if you have time, you can read some important articles that are relevant to SC/ST, or rural areas related, women related, any specific provision is there in Indian Constitution. So article you can study. So now comes to the ARD part. ARD I have already explained, very less weightage, 25 to 30 questions from the ARD static will be there. Out of 40, 10 questions at least will be from the current affairs scheme part. So agriculture, first thing is definition, various terminology, various branches of agriculture. One question, one or two question you will definitely find from the agriculture terminology. In agronomy, same, different type of branches of agronomy or crops in agronomy you can study. Yes, if you are but these schemes, I have told you, these schemes you can do those MCQs, PIB revision, top MCQs and schemes and budget. If you know, if you will cover these things, you can easily clear the cutoff. But phase 1 GA also 2 months you need to, in addition to that part. Classification of field crops and factors affecting crop production, you need to study the different type of crop and their classification based on different specification, like Rabi crops are there, Kharif crops are there. So these things you need to study. I will not be discussing what things you need to study in the detail because the content is specific under the chapter. Cropping system, again different type of cropping pattern you need to study. Today, not today, tomorrow we will be coming up with the 100 most important GA MCQs. Now under this chapter, what you need to study: dry farming, dryland farming, rainfed farming, what is their types of mulching or mulching system, what is this. Under this chapter you need to study at least seed replacement rate of major crops. Do not study for the all, means you can study that which crop has the highest seed replacement rate, or rice, wheat, maize. 2, 3, 4 crops seed replacement rate you can cram, because it is not possible to cram for every crop. Same thing for seed multiplication ratio. What is pollination, cross pollination, nucleus seed, breeder seed certificate, foundation seed certificate, seed related specification. Many times this question has been asked on these. What is seed germination, seed dormancy, methods of breaking of seed dormancy. These things you need to study under this. Read this specific thing. Do not go in depth, because everything it is not possible to cram. Target on the those topics with the help of those you can clear the cutoff. And I have already told you that 70% questions out of 100 will be from the current affairs, schemes, budget, survey and the GA part. So focus on those and study the selective topics at least. Rainfall category, Indian Meteorological Department you can study, because there is a lot of facts and data if you will go in depth, but it is not possible, and we also cannot predict what type of question they are going to ask. Precision farming, you can read about GPS, GIS, remote sensing. If any latest development of Ministry of Agriculture related to this precision farming, any system is developed, it is in news in PIB, so that can be asked. Cropping intensity, system of crop intensification you can study. For photoperiodism, optimum temperature for different crops, that you can study. Organic farming, organic manures, biofertilizers, participatory guarantee system, PGS, you need to study these topics. National program for organic production, various government initiative, means various schemes you will be already studying under this Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. What are the various schemes related to organic farming? National Center for Organic and Natural Farming, read about this. Statistic related to organic farming in India. Which state has the highest coverage under area under organic production, means which state has the highest. What is export, and what is the export in last year, and what is the India's rank in the export for the organic products. So these things you need to study. What is total area under organic production? So these facts you should know, because it can be asked. Madhya Pradesh is the state which have the highest area under organic production. Sikkim was the first organic state, but Madhya Pradesh has the highest area under organic production. And this question was asked in the mains, NABARD Grade A mains 2021, I think. Soil and water conservation measures soil types and their characteristics, soil fertility, fertilizers, and plant nutrient. Also you need to study that. Always question asking question on the plant nutrient. Soil erosion, soil conservation related concept you can study. These are the easy things. Means any student who is not who are not from the agriculture background, they can learn types of irrigation, sources of irrigation, command area development, water conservation techniques, what is micro irrigation, irrigation pumps you can skip, but major, medium and minor irrigation related definition you can study. In farm and agri engineering, I will advise you to study on the farm machinery, types of farm machinery. Suppose cultivator is used for which purpose, harrow is used for which purpose, thresher is used for which purpose. So simple question can be asked if it is asked in depth. So maximum will not be able to answer. So I will advise to stick to the selective study, because you have to clear the cutoff. 70% are marked. Tomorrow we will be discussing 100 questions, most important MCQs, and 70% questions are allocated to schemes, current affair part. So I will advise you select study. Yes, MSP and advanced estimates are very important. Definitely you will find a question. I will come and tell which topics more you need to study. Animal husbandry, again 4 to 5 questions. These in agriculture, specifically this area is very important. These chapters: soil and water, animal husbandry, plantation and horticulture. Various terminology are there under this plantation and horticulture. Propagation, always one propagation method is being asked, various terminology being asked. And in animal husbandry they can ask question on the breed, male female name. They can ask classification of breed, mixed farming, feed and fodder, disease related question they can ask. So 4 to 5 questions generally they are asking from the animal husbandry, including the poultry part. In forestry, always they are asking question on the branches. What is the different branches of agroforestry? What is social forestry? In social forestry was asked in the descriptive and phase 2. Various terminology in forestry chapter, ISFR, Indian State of Forest Report, you can study. Forest Right Act you can study. You can target these topics if you have not studied all the topics. Means if you not cover the ARD or you are facing any challenge, study these topics I have mentioned. Again, ecology and climate change, you need to study at least what is ecosystem, atmosphere, what is stratosphere, troposphere, greenhouse gases, AC drain, ozone layer related question, IPCC, UNFCCC, COP meetings, latest COP, and where will be the next COP. So these things you need to study, and these things I already told: INDC, Mission Life, NAPC, and SAPCC, National Action Plan for Climate Change. Fisheries, only terminology I will advise you, because breeds are there, different breeds are there in fishery chapter, but you will not be able to cram everything at this moment. So I will advise you to study these basic definition: what is freshwater, brackish water and marine fishes, aquaculture, inland and marine, what is the difference, and other terminology are there in the fishery chapter. So need to study at least these things. Now comes to the rural development part. Committees to set up Panchayati Raj institutions. Different committees are there: Balwant Rai Committee, Alok Mehta Committee, there are committees related to the Panchayati Raj system, so I will advise you to study those committees, because in last 3-4 years, I think 2 or 3 times they have asked question on the committees. 73 and 74th amendments are very important. The Panchayat extension to the Scheduled Areas Act is important. Agriculture and allied GVA, very important. Agriculture and allied sector GVA, what is the percentage GVA? What is the contribution of agriculture and allied sector in Indian economy, means Indian GDP and Indian GVA? Or they can ask question, what is the contribution of crop GVA in total agriculture GVA? That is given in the economic survey also, Ministry of Agriculture annual report, or agricultural statistics at a glance. Report is at the website of Directorate of Economic Statistics. You can read from there, or economic survey, it is there. So agriculture GDP related data is very important. Do not skip. Food grain production estimates including area under production, again very important thing. Horticulture production estimates including area under production. MSP, it is very important. Agri and allied sector export related data, it is available on APDA website also, and annual report of the ministry, it is available, or agriculture statistics at a glance. MSP, they can ask anything. I cannot say that any crop is important, but at least any these major crops like rice, wheat, they can ask the question on the major crops. So I will advise you to cram the MSP of specifically of major crops. And if any in yesterday or day before yesterday session, I also discussed that there is a highest margin over some crops, so they can ask a question on those crops also. So these are the important things you need to cover. I will share the PDF of this. If you want to clear the cutoff, first I will advise you to focus on ESI GA, plus then at the end, if you have left time, if you are confident in ESI GA, then go for those who are not yet confident, who have not yet studied properly, then go to the ARD section. And in ARD, at least do the terminology. If you are not read anything, at least do the terminology, or those who have already studied the topic to revise these topics. And in ARD, I also given the subtopics, so you can revise target these topics. So this was for today. And anything else you want to ask? Yes, circular MCQs that Mayank sir covered today is sufficient. Yes, last 3-4 months circular we have covered, and that is I think enough. Some more circular MCQs from the past month, I will make a compilation which are already available in our course, but I will filter out the MCQs which are most important from circular of the past month. That will I will upload. So any question you want to ask? I will share in the Telegram this PDF. So any question if you want to ask? It is good score if you are getting 60 marks. We are coming up with 100 most important MCQs. We will try to 200. It varies. It depends on every student. So which section he want to start, or he or she wants to start. But as there will be 7 sections, I think. So These section will take less time, like ESI, ARD, GA, decision making, and computer. So I will generally advise to finish these section first. Finish these section, then for the QRE. First finish these section because it will take less time. After that, go for the QRE section and divide equal time for all three section and attempt question accordingly. If suppose 20 question will be there, I think 20 for this, 20 or 30, I am not able to recall. So at least 50% question attempt of each section in this QRE, then go for this, then you can attempt other sections. Otherwise, if suppose you are spending time on only quant, then reasoning and English will be skipped, and you have to clear the sectional cutoff of these non-merit section. You have to clear the sectional cutoff, that is important. And we have seen in the previous year many students who have scored good marks in this section, ESI, ARD, GA, they have good marks, they have more than the cutoff, but they missed some missed the cutoff on reasoning, many missed in the cutoff in the computer and decision making. So do not ignore these also, decision making again important for this exam, because we have seen that many students have missed the cutoff in these two sectional cutoff. This PDF I will share. Yes, our decision making PDF is enough, since the addition means induction of this decision making subject in NABARD exam, we are referring that PDF only, and it is enough every time. So any question if you want to ask any other candidate, otherwise we are winding up this session for today. Okay, thank you for joining this session, and keep studying and revise this session. Revise the content as per this PDF I have referred in this video. So focus on those ministries specifically. More than 50% question you will find from the schemes, and PIB again, it is very important. Budget is very important. PIB revision, PIB today MCQs we will be discussing today. Target score, at least target 60 marks, at least target 60 marks, but it depends on the paper also, what will be the difficulty level of the questions, then only we can guess. So let's see. Okay, thank you, and keep studying, don't waste your time.